The Edmonton Oilers do it, and the Battle of Alberta is still in play. They push a Game 7 with the LA Kings on the back of Connor McDavid, the big guns of the Edmonton Oilers, and a fantastic game by Mike Smith. LA gave them all they could handle. The team effort of LA was on full display, but Edmonton made way less mistakes in this game. They were incredibly disciplined. McDavid does McDavid things. 24 minutes on the ice. McDavid and Draisaitl paired together, and what I heard termed today is the nuclear option. Love that term. That's exactly what it is. Panic! Panic! Put them together! Hey, whatever. It ends up working. Evander Kane does Evander Kane things. Goalie interference? Maybe, maybe not. Gets a goal in front of the net. It's a tip-in. It's classic Kane. It's exactly what you want. And of course, it's Tyson Barrie, one of the more controversial defensemen back there in Edmonton. A lot of points. Sketchy defensively. Best friend on White Avenue right now in Edmonton. So, Kings, Oiler fans, let's talk about it. In this game, Connor McDavid, game on his back every single time, 3 points. Didn't it feel like McDavid was everywhere on the ice? Look, Kings fans, you may be sick of hearing it at this point, or you may just totally accept the fate that you're in. I'm not saying you're not going to win, but when you're playing against a guy like Connor McDavid, the best player in the world right now, he's a handful, and he's everywhere, and he's very hard to defend, and he made that apparent tonight. So you got to do the damage when McDavid's not on the ice, but McDavid plays about 40-45% of the game, so that is pretty tough to do. 24 minutes north of that for McDavid tonight. What a horse. That's incredible for a forward. Leads the team even above defenseman Cody Ceci. No Darnell Nurse in this game because he's suspended, so good for Ceci being able to carry that load. Evander Kane, his line mate, also gets 2 goals, 1 assist. Like I said, I never said Evander Kane wasn't a good hockey player. I just said I don't think he's an elite hockey player. He's Evander Kane. He's a roller coaster. He's a head case, but he is helping the Edmonton Oilers win games right now. Jay Woodcroft, after Connor McDavid, the most important guy on the Edmonton Oilers. He is a pretty good coach. Edmonton's really going to say he's a very good coach. I like what's going on with Jay Woodcroft. He's got this team going. The fact that they're going to 7 is pretty good. The Los Angeles Kings play a more complete team game tonight when it comes to time on ice. Kopitar, Durzi, Danault, Matt Roy, and Mikey Anderson. I almost forgot the name there for a second. They all carry north of 20 minutes, so they really spread it out again tonight. That's the way the LA Kings got to win. They got to do it by committee. That's the way they've done it all year. They got to rely on Jonathan Quick, but unfortunately, Jonathan Quick's first goal of the game is a wraparound. Oh, I don't care if that's Connor McDavid. Any goalie will tell you you should not let in a wraparound goal. That is unacceptable and on Quick. But other than that, he had a great game. He limited the Edmonton Oilers to only 3 goals, but it just wasn't enough. So you either take away that wraparound or you got to score a couple more goals if you're the LA Kings. Either way, it's going back home to Edmonton. Will LA take this away? This has been a barn burner series with blowouts on both ends, but it seems like they have settled in now to 1-goal games, so they're getting tighter. It's just like the Leafs and the Bolts. They had a very similar series to this. The playoffs is starting to get tighter. The scores are getting closer together. These games are getting a lot closer. That hit on McDavid center ice, I think it's just incidental contact. We're always going to have to talk about big hits, especially to superstar players. And look, Oiler fans, you know this as well as I do. Edmonton. Connor McDavid has come through the middle, elbows up a time or two in his career. I think he's on number 3 at this point, couple $5,000 fines. So it happens to McDavid. If you're rattled about it, he gets shaken up. He's back in the game. He's slow to get up, but you know, it goes both ways. He's done it. He's had it done to them. That's just playoff hockey, baby. Before we get to the goals as well, let's talk about the goalie interference, the no call. I can't believe this. I'm going to agree with Elliot Friedman. LA King fans, if you're in the States, you wouldn't have gotten this call. Elliot Friedman is just a sportscaster up here in Canada. He's a divisive personality. Some people really love him. Some people don't really like him. I lean on the side of he's a necessary evil, but not a huge Friedman fan, but he's also kind of a beauty at the same time. So I don't know which way I want to take Friedman, but either way, I loved his take on this. I don't think it was a good idea for Jay Woodcroft to challenge for goalie interference in that one. He may or may not have won it. I totally agree when he said it's a 50-50 call. So you let me know down below in the comments. Was that goalie interference? Was it not? Would you have challenged? Would you have not? The only reason I wouldn't have challenged, well, why don't I just show you? Right here, you can see in front of the net. Is this goalie interference? Is it not on the Evander Kane goal? Is he being pushed in? Is he not? You could argue this all day, every day, that the player didn't get out of his way and the defender also has right to his ice. You really don't know what's going to end up happening here. So this is a tough call. It could have been called on Hyman. It could have been called goalie interference. I don't think it is, but my opinion does not matter. And to risk a penalty when you're up 2 goals at this point to put LA on the power play, I don't think that's a very good call. You do not want to make it a 2-1 game when you're already up by 2. So I think this is a good call by Woodcroft. They end up getting out with the win. If they would have lost, people would have really criticized this piece. It is very tough to be a coach. So happy time at Edmonton because he wins, but what would you have done? Let me know. Don't forget, Oiler Nation, LA Kings fans, we got a ton of you on here. We're going to see you for game 7. Go ahead, smash the thumbs up, smash a like, join our Discord if you want to chat with us. Goes a long way to comment and give those thumbs up and those subscribes. All that free help that you end up giving us by just clicking a couple buttons really helps pave our way as we create all this free content. We will always be free content. We will always have free content. It is exclusive to Hot Garbage Sports, the best in hockey, in my opinion, but I'm of course very biased. If you want to engage with me more, go ahead and take a look at some of our options, including our members page. It is monetized, but if you want priority access to certain things like response to comments, you want me to create a video for you, or you just want to go ahead and join what we call the coaches staff and show your appreciation for this channel and the entertainment you get out of it, that's great. If not, no big deal. Again, the free stuff, the thumbs up and the subscribe is all we are looking for. That's all I can ask. You're here, you're watching, you're engaging, you're commenting. I really appreciate it, but the members option is there for those that want to go a step up. The super thanks is there for those that don't want a recurring membership fee, but they want to say thanks. Let's go ahead. Thank you for being here. There's a ton of ways you can interact and support with this channel, but this content will always be free and here for you. Let's go ahead and talk about some goals, shall we? Connor McDavid is an absolute monster. If you've been on this channel for some time, you know we can only use still images when it comes to fair use content. We can't just roll the clips, or we would, but we can't. And I'd like to keep this channel up and running. I think you would too. Connor McDavid, one of the fastest players in the NHL. So as he ends up moving through there, we keep it under a second. McDavid's speed is just absolutely blistering. Look at that perfect onside there by his partner. McDavid's able to continue into the zone. He doesn't have a path to the net. We talk about gap all the time. This is good gap. There's nothing wrong with this gap. This is why McDavid has to go wide. The LA Kings defense played this perfectly. There is nothing more the LA Kings defense can be asked to do on this one. So this just ends up being Connor McDavid doing Connor McDavid things. Look at him get around. This is just skill beating another player. And when you're the best in the world, it is what it is. I thought he was going to go short side here. He doesn't. He continues around the net. You can see there, Quick gets his foot on the post. So how does this one end up going in? I am not sure, but this is why we say wraparound goals aren't ideal for goalies. They're saves that should be made 100% of the time. We go ahead, we get the better angle here, and it is just simply a matter of Quick not sealing his post. He made every move here. McDavid ends up putting it in. You'd think these would work a lot of the time, but they actually don't. They're a very low percentage scoring chance, but not when you're the best in the world. Evander Kane doing Evander Kane here thing. Evander Kane doing Evander Kane things here. Connor McDavid ends up going to the net. Kane ends up unloading a shot. Quick with a beautiful save. Edmonton recovers. They're going to end up moving this one to the point. Take a look at McDavid there. He changes speed better than anybody else. I know you didn't see it because it's a still image, but he stops skating hard and he starts gliding so he can get into the open ice. That's what makes Connor McDavid so special. It's all the little things that he does, especially on the fact that he doesn't go all out every time. He controls his speed. It's not just how fast he skates, it's how fast he stops, it's how fast he changes direction, it's how fast he slows down. Puck ends up going to the point. They widen the zone. We've talked about this a million times. When you cross the Royal Road and widen the zone, you're in trouble. They end up clearing the rebound, so Quick gets a very good visual on this one. He is not able to make the save though, because unfortunately, and we talk about this all the time with defensemen, I hate the cross check. You've got to lean in and get your stick on his stick. You cannot allow Evander Kane to get his stick down on the ice here, but they do. Cross check, cross check, cross check, cross check. Useless play, does nothing. Congratulations, you battled in front of the net. Players are too good at tipping pucks and redirecting pucks these days, so bad job by the LA Kings on defense. Great job by Evander Kane and the rest. Jersey, power play goal, face-off theory. We talk about it. You score on power plays, you score off face-offs. You score on power plays off of face-offs, but face-offs and power plays are two of the key ways you need to score goals in the NHL. Look, this is the proper way to line up. There's a lot of times where teams will take this player and line him up over here, leaving this wall naked. I hate leaving this wall naked. When you get 50-50 pucks, you don't have a chance to get it back. So this is the proper way to do it. You make sure you have two guys in here. You always make sure you have two guys here. Somebody needs to be on the hash marks because this is a 50-50 puck that ends up going to the wall. LA wins it because they're on their forehand. You can see it, and then they're able to move it back and start the process of scoring this goal. Face-offs matter a ton. You see they end up winning that battle for the puck, moving it back, and they start walking across the line. That's the key. They're going to set up into their 1-3-1 system. So he gets dumped in front. 1-3-1 means you have one player in front, you have three in the middle, and you have one back there. You move it back to the point, down low to the shooter position. The shooter ends up moving it back to the point. This is just angle changes. All you're doing is you're getting Smith to move one way and Smith to move the other way. Then you're getting him to stand up so his head can see over the screen. All of that movement, that force screen, and that ability to stand up generates this goal. They're very systematic goals on the power play. It ends up beating him on the right side. There's nothing Mike Smith can do here. This is not Mike Smith being bad by any means. He has that hole open. It is angle changes. It is great offense. It was a win off the faceoff. Carl Gunstrom ends up scoring here. Hey, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I talked about this. If you don't score on the Edmonton Oilers, they are going to leave the zone and punish you. The place they get the most amount of goals is on transition from their own defensive zone. LA ends up coughing up the puck into the corner, so we have a turnover. McDavid ends up pushing that puck up the wall, and then what you see is, take a look at that speed. It is incredible. The Edmonton Oilers speed when it comes to leaving the zone is some of the best in the NHL, but they push too many guys. You need to make sure that you cut off that wide side. So they're pushing to score. That is what Edmonton does. And because they push to score, they cause a goal. That puck ends up going D to D, like we talked about, widening the zone, changing the angles. They end up going from D to D down low. So you cross that Royal Road twice, right? There's two crosses. That's a double move for Mike Smith. Again, just like the power play, those double moves are tough to cover. Quick little shot. Puck sneaks into the left side. It may look weak by Mike Smith. There is nothing weak about this goal. I'll defend Smith to the death on both of these. Two crosses across the Royal Road. Bad team defense by the Edmonton Oilers, leaving their zone too early, looking to score. It's their bread and butter. It costs them. It's a tie game. GWG here by Tyson, Barrie. What is it? It's a LA Kings turnover in their own zone. How does that work? Well, that means Edmonton's going to score, and they do. Connor McDavid turns this over. He is going to end up going end to end. That end-to-end speed by McDavid is hard to handle. Look at the amount of LA Kings backing in. You need to stand them up at the line. Bad defense again by the Kings. But another way, how do you handle Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl? It's tough. McDavid ends up bumping it out to Draisaitl. Barrie is sneaking in, and this is why you don't want to back in. Look, McDavid drove the mid lane like we talked about. He actually even engaged with the defenseman, which I love. Look how far back everybody has been pushed. This isn't the right way to play D, but this is definitely the right way to push back the defense if you're the Edmonton Oilers. That allows Tyson Barrie to sneak in here undetected. It's a screen in front of the net. I agree with this all day, every day. Of course, you're going to go down and block. Some people say get out of the way so the goalie can see it. Fully disagree. You want to block every shot that you can. Go down, try to help your goalie. But it doesn't matter because Barrie is one of the best at scoring, maybe not defensively, but scoring, and he is now one of the most popular people in Edmonton going into Game 7. There you have it, team. That's the game breakdown. Thanks for being here, and we will catch all of you on Saturday, which is my birthday, for Game 7. There's 3 of them. Of course there is. Oh, let's go!